This is Jim Nailon, liturgical guitarist, and this is the first lesson in the chord melody section of this series of fingerstyle lessons. So it's called chord melody because you're playing off chord positions and you're playing the melody while you're also playing the chord. Sometimes, now in these early lessons, we'll just do the bass from the chord, but you might want to get your hand used to playing the chord, at least partial chord, if not the whole chord. So let's look at, we got lesson 1 here, beginning chord melody exercises. You can see that on there. We're going to start with that one. Exercise 1, we're playing off of a C chord here, and we're going to play a C major scale while we hold down the bass note. So you can see I've got my third finger on the fifth string, 3rd fret. My second and my other fingers are going to be moving around playing melody notes. So you might start with the C chord down, or you could just start with just that bass note down. Now you'll notice I give you some right hand fingering suggestions, M-I, M-I, etc. Those are just suggestions. There is some logic for that, but sometimes when I'm playing my arrangements, if the melody's on the 3rd string, I usually use my 1st finger to pluck it. If it's on the 2nd string, I usually use my M finger or 2nd finger, and if it's on the 1st string, I usually use my A finger or my 3rd finger. But I unconsciously go between the fingering. It's not something I generally think out anymore, but I spent a lot of years learning, classical alternation of I-M, or even I-M, A-M, I-M, A-M, playing scales. So anyway, let's start on this one. We're going to hold the bass note down. Now the bass note has to hold through all 4 counts. So of each measure. We're going to repeat this same bass note here. So let's start again. The G is the open 3rd string. And we've played these scales before. Here's the open 3rd string. Then the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, played by the 2nd finger. The open 2nd string. And the 1st finger plays the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So that first measure is just... And notice the bass notes ringing through the whole thing. 2nd measure, the 4th finger now goes down and plays the 3rd fret of the 2nd string to get that D. And I play the bass note again. Then the open 1st string, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string, and 4th finger plays the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And then I repeat those 2 notes, the G, the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and the 3rd measure here coming back down. And I work my way back down just like I came up. And the last measure. And there's a repeat sign there, so you'd start over again. Repeat the G, sorry. And then play the chord. Exercise 2, we're going to play the same basic scale, a C scale, only we're going to do it over a G in the bass. So now, most people, when they're first learning guitar, they play their G with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers. You should get in the habit of playing it with the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. More advanced guitarists almost always play their G this way unless there's a good reason to play it this way. But this is the most common way to play the G once you've been playing guitar for a while. And of course you have to have a fairly strong little finger to be able to play it this way. So anyway, same scale, but the different bass note, 3rd fret of the 6th string. Here we go. Measure 2. Now we're going to come down. We're not going to repeat that G. So in the third measure, the F. And the last measure. Here's something a little different. We're going to go down into the 4th string and put our little finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string there to get that F natural. And then we repeat it again from the top at the start. Coming down. Fourth string, 3rd fret, and then the final chord. And the exercise 3, now the bass note is the F. And so what we're doing, we're playing, if we're in the key of C, our major chords that we're playing are C, which is the 1 chord, F is the 4 chord, and G is the 5 chord. Because if I start on C as 1, I go C, D, E, F, so F is 4, G is 5. The 1, 4, and 5 chords, you can do hundreds and thousands of songs with just those 3 chords. So anyway, so this is the other main chord in the key of C. We're going to play the same scale as we did in exercise 2, but with the bass on the 3rd string now. Here we go. And you would repeat, and then now if you have a big enough hand, you can get that F with your thumb around, and you can play. I don't give this to you, but this is how. If I want the F bass, I'm playing the whole chord, but I give you kind of a cheater version here of it, or a simplified version. Now exercise 4, the bass is going to move between the 5th string and the 6th string, and then up to the 4th string, and then back to the 6th string. So, but it's the same scale we've been working on. So it sounds like this. Starting with the bass on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Now the bass moves, finger moves to the 6th string. Now bring the finger all the way over to the 4th string. Back to the 6th string. Start again. Take the repeat. 5th string. Now the bass is on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Now 3rd fret of the 4th string. Back to the 6th string, 3rd fret. Then we end on a C chord. And finally, exercise 5 is an example of playing a melody over a bass run. So here we're, the bass run is going to, if you look at the whole notes at the bottom of each measure, the 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string played by the 2nd finger, open 5th string, and then 3rd fret of the 6th string. So that's our bass run. Boom, 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 boom. And the melody is going to be let's start it again. So let's see how that goes together. So ready, play. Open 1st string, 1st fret of the 1st string, then change the bass to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and your little finger's playing the 3rd fret of the 1st string. and open A bass or fifth string bass. And now your third finger is going down to the third fret of the sixth string, and your little finger is going to play the third fret of the fourth string. And you come back up, and you take the repeat, and it sounds. Okay, once you've got those down, turn the page over to the practice pieces, and you've got "Are You Sleeping?" with a G bass. I don't give you fingering here. You can figure it out however what's comfortable. This is all over a G bass. Extra bass note. Mary Had a Little Lamb. This one the bass moves a couple of times, so starting in C. Now to a G chord with back to a C chord. And back to a G chord and a C chord. Now the chord never changed on Are You Sleeping because that's one of 3 songs that I know of that are one chord songs. Whenever I would teach folk guitar, I'd always start people with the D chord, and we would sing the 3 chord songs, Are You Sleeping, or Row, Row, Row Your Boat, or Frere Jacques, Are You Sleeping? 3 Blind Mice is the other one, that's right, 3. And people would go home, be able to sing 3 songs and have 1 chord at least after the first day. Anyway, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. This is in the key of G, but we have a lot of bass movement here. So look at your bass line. It's going to go those quarter notes, 3rd fret of the 6th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 5th string, back down 2nd fret of the 5th string, open 5th string, 3rd fret of the 6th string, then up to the open 4th string, and then back to the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then you repeat that. So let's do that first section. And you repeat that. Try and keep these bass notes down the whole, as long as you can. Let them ring through the whole beat. Now we have a little bass run here. We're going moving on past the repeat. It's bass on the 2nd fret, and then of the 5th string, then open 5th string, and then the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So there's one of our bass runs we saw on the other page. And then the last bass note in that in that 3rd measure of the first line of Twinkle Little Star is an open 4th string, and then we have that bass run again down in the last line, and then we have 6th fret of 5th string, 2nd fret of the starting out. This is the 2nd measure of the last line. 3rd fret of the 6th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 5th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, open 5th string, 3rd fret of the 6th string, open 4th string, and then a G. So that's going to sound like this. Now the very last line again. So that gives you some real easy pieces to play. Then the next lesson will be the chord melody exercises with slurs. We can put some of the things we learned back in our trill exercises, some slurs there. So that's all I have for this lesson. I pray God blesses your playing, and I wish you peace.